In this section, I will discuss how if we use the list comprehension with a function. So most of the examples before, it was the list comprehension, tuple comprehension, set comprehension, dictionary comprehension, but those are the examples without function. Now, if I have function, how we can deal with function? So a list comprehension with a function inside. It means we can use a function to do something. For example, use a function to transform each number in a list. Now you have this function. Okay, you have the def, it is to make a function. And then this is the function in double. And we have one parameter, n. The one parameter here, it will be a number that you will transform. So in this case, n multiply by 2. Now, I would like to use this function double. So double means I want to multiply the number by 2. For every of x, I will make it double. So the x will be a number from this list. So we have 1, 5, and 10. Then when the x is 1, so we will put 1 as the argument, and the function will multiply the number which is 1 with 2. And we will insert 2 in this list. When x equals to 5, so 5 will be the argument of this function, and 5 will be multiplied by 2, the result is 10. And 10 will be a new value in this list. When the x is 10, so 10 will be the argument of this function, and then 10 multiplied by 2 is 20, and 20 will be added into the list. So the result will be 2, 10, and 20. This statement is the same with this statement. So you have the function double with one parameter n, and then n is multiplied by 2. It is a written function. And then we have a list, an empty list, double number. And for every number, which is 1, 5, and 10, we want to double it. So to double x, it means we want to double the value. And the value that you double, it will be added into the list, or it will be append into the list. So this statement is the same with this statement. So with the list comprehension, you get a concise way, or you can just make in one statement. So this one, we have a lot of. Let me just run for each of this one. Okay, so we have pairs like this one, and then we have the list of tuples. You already look at this one, and then we can do the set comprehension. We can do the set comprehension with this code. Okay. So we can make the cubes. So we have the Python code with the for loop for the dictionary. And then we can also use function to transform a number. And this is the for loop. This is the function. Okay, we have the function, so we get this one. Now, when you do with a string, I think last time we have one function, it is split. So let me just revisit the split function. We can create an array of string using split function. So for example, I have welcome to Korea. So it is a string. And I'm going to split the string. So split means I want to see the space. If there is a space, like this one, space, then the string will be split. In this case, we have 1, 2, 3. There are 3 words. With the split function, then I will have 3 elements: welcome, comma, to, comma, Korea. So the basic function of split, it is based on the space. If you find a space, then you can split the words. And each of the word will be an element of a list, like this one. The characters of split can be specified. For example, I have shop, shop, shop. So I want to split each of this number, based on the shop. And the split characters, I would like to use shop, and we will only check the number before the shop and after the shop. So before the shop and after the shop, before the shop and after the shop. So it will be the splitter. We call it the splitter. Then the value will be 34. This is the first before the shop. And then 13 is this the value in between the shop. 78 in between the shop, and 45 in between the shop. So we can have a lot of variation, not only shop, but sometimes you have dash. Let's say okay, this one is the example. Now let's say if you have the phone number, okay, 010 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, like this one. So I want to split into 3. Okay. Then I can do splitting using dash, for example. Then I know that the phone number is this one. Then I will get this element, and this element. If you want to change this element into a number, then you can change every of this element into integer. Now, when we deal with the array, in many times we can put the array into a function. Array in function means we have an array or we have a data in the list, for example, and we want to pass a list as a parameter. Now we have a function print list. I want to print the list, and then this parameter is a list. So for every element in the list, I would like to print. If I have the list, my list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I will call the function print list, and I would like to put the argument, which is my list, this is my list, into this parameters, and we will do this statement. Oh, again, I make mistake. This is not the result. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this one. Okay, the output, because we don't have any statement to print everything in the same line, then it will be printed in the different line. Now, we can deal with this kind of loop, and then we can do some kind of process inside a function. So a process inside the function means, for example, yeah, we can pass a list as a parameter. So we can pass the list into this parameter, and there can be a process inside the function or in the function. For example, we have a function calculate sum, and then the parameter is data list, and I want to do the summation sum from the data list. So this is a built-in function. Okay, we'll call it a built-in function. Built-in function. So this function is a Python function for list, for tuple, and when the data elements are numbers, when you call sum, it automatically calculates the summation. Now, if you see this one, I have a list of numbers 10, 20, 30, 40. And then I would like to calculate sum of the numbers. The numbers is 10, 20, 30, 40. Then these numbers will be in this parameter, and then we will do the summation for every numbers in the numbers. Means 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40. So this will be the result from the function sum. And after we do the summation, we will put the value into the variable total. So the total will be written. So when we return it into the variable, in this case result, then the value of result will be the total of this summation, and result will be 100. So I'm using F. The list is the numbers. The numbers is the list of 10, 20, 30, 40, and then the summation is the result. That is the value 100. So you can do something like this one, a process in the function. You can do sum for this function. So please remember that not all built-in functions are available. only some built-in function. For example, this sum, it is available to do the summation. But average, there is no function average. So you need to calculate the average by yourself. When we do with the function, okay, we have a concept about pass by value. So Python use pass by value to pass the arguments to a function. So there are important differences between passing the values of variables, of numbers and strings, and passing this. Okay, so there are three. First, if you use numbers. Second, if you use strings. And third, if you use this. Okay. What is the difference? We can split those things into two: immutable objects and changeable objects. You still remember? Immutable. Immutable means unchangeable. You cannot change. So string, it is immutable. A variable of numbers, this is also a kind of immutable. This is changeable. So the objects in Python can be split into two: immutable objects or changeable objects. And those things are different when you pass into the function. So if it is an immutable object or it is unchangeable, you cannot change. For an argument of a number or a string, the original value of the number and string outside the function is not it. Because numbers and strings are immutable in Python. Okay, so we will look with examples later. For an argument of a list, the value of the argument is a reference to a list. So please remember this one, reference. The reference means something that you will save into a kind of memory address. This reference value is passed to the function. Semantically, it can be best described as passed by sharing, not passed by value. That is, the list in the function is the same as the list being passed. So what does it mean? If you change the list in the function, you will see the change outside the function. So that's the meaning by changeable object. Now let's see. We can pass a list as a parameter. There can be a process in the function, but now let's see with this example. I have two functions. So the first function is main function. And this main function without parameter. We have x equal to 1. So here x represents an integer value. Okay, this is number. As we learned before, number, string, it is unchangeable or immutable. We have y equals to 1 to 3. So y represent a list. So this is changeable object. This is unchangeable. Now, I'm calling another function, m x comma y. If you look at this one, m. The function m has two parameters. The first parameter, number. The number is from a variable x. What is x? X is number, which is unchangeable. X is unchangeable. So when we put number here, actually the number will be 1 in this case. Okay. Now, if you look at this one, number becomes 1, 0, 0, 1. So we assign a new value to the number. What about y? Y is a list. So y is a changeable object. So we put numbers, y into numbers, and now we want to update numbers index 0 equals to 5555. What does it mean? We know numbers, it is a list. Okay. Numbers, it is a list 1, 2, and 3. Numbers index 0. Number index 0 is this one. Number index 0, let's update it with 5555. Assign a new value to numbers index 0. Then this value will be updated into 5555. So after we finish with this function, okay, we complete this function, we return back to this function. This function, we want to print x. X is originally 1. After we go into this function, number, which is the x, has been updated into 1, 0, 0, 1. What about the result of x? Is it 1 or 1, 0, 0, 1? Because based on the concept, this is numbers. Okay. Numbers or string. It is unchangeable. So in Python, this is unchangeable. So whenever you change in the other function, it will not affect this one. So this x is still 1, and this number is still 1, 0, 0, 1. It is in the different location. However, when we want to print y index 0, y index 0. For y index 0, originally it is 1, 2, and 3. After we call this function, okay, we call this function y, we put it into the numbers. So we have the pass by sharing. We call it, this is pass by sharing. We share the reference of this list. And then when we updated any element in this list, which is the index 0, originally it is 1, and then it has been updated into 5555. This number will be also updated into the y. So when you print this one, you will get the value 5555. Okay, you will see the result. So x is 1, and then y index 0 is 5555. You can also look at the print. You can print the y. So if you print the y, now y becomes 5555, 2, 3. Because this is a changeable object, okay, as I mentioned to you, this is changeable object. You can change. That's why whenever you change the value inside, it is a reference to another function. But this one is immutable or unchangeable. You cannot change. Then if you pass this value into this one, it will not change the x because it is not a reference value. Okay. Now, this is another kind of function with regard to a list. Let's make a function reverse. So you already know when we deal with the list, we can use reverse automatically. But let's use reverse in this example. We have a function reverse, and then we want to show the result. The result will be an empty list. And for every element in the list 1, so every element in the list 1, the result will be a function. Now we'll use function insert, okay, 0, element. So it means I want to insert the element in the index 0. And then we will return the result. It means we want to see if the value of list 1 is 1, 5, 3, 4, 2. And list 1 is 1, 5, 3, 4, 2. When we do the insert 0, element, 0, what does it mean by 0? This is the index 0. In the empty list, when I look at the element equals to 1, 1, insert in the index 0. So we insert 1. When we look at the element 5, insert 0 element, so it means we will insert 5 into the index 0. So we will insert 5 into the index 0. Then the result will be like this one. When now we are in the next element, which is 3, insert 0, element, insert 3 in the index 0. Then we will insert 3, and then the remaining will be 3 and 5 and 1. When we are in the element 4, okay, we insert 0, element. Insert the 4 in the index 0. So we have 4, 4, 3, 5, 1. And then last, we read the element 2. We want to insert into the index 0. Then it is 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. Okay. Then the result of this will be printed because we will return the result. So the reverse in we will check from the last element. So the last element, which is 2, and then 4, and then 3, and then 5, and then 1. So we can make the function like this. Now there's another issue when we deal with the argument. I think you still remember when we deal with function, there is a default argument. If we can set a list as default argument. In this case, I'm using LST. So LST is a reference value started from an empty list. So a list as an argument will not replace the reference value. Now, let's see one by one. We have a function add, and then we have two parameters, x and lst, which is an empty list. If not x in lst, not x in lst, it means when the x, which is this value, is not in the list, then let's append the x. So if the value x is not in the list, let's insert the x into the list. Yes. Now we have LST as an empty list. We will check this one. List 1 equals to add 1. What is it? Add 1. It means I have one value and the other parameter is empty list. So when I do the add 1, the result will be 1. So I'm adding 1 into a list. And then I will do another statement, list 2. List 2 equals to add 2. When I do the next statement, add 2, I will have 1 and based on this statement. Okay. So this list will be updated, and will be keep updated along with the next step. I have list 3. Now I'm going to add 3. And what is the list? The list is 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'm using the list 11, 12, 13, 14 as the LST. Now we will check. If not x in LST, so x 3, is it in the LST? But now the question is, which list? Whether this list is from this list or whether the list is from this list. So when we define the list here, then we will not consider this default value. We will consider the new list that is in this calling function. So we will check in this list, is there any 3? No, there are no 3. That's why we will put the list with an element 3 at the end of the list. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, and 3. So we append x in the list, and the list is this one, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now we have another list, list 4. List 4. It is just adding a value 4. Now, what is the result? Originally, this list is empty, okay, but it becomes the reference. Okay, if you still remember, before this example, we learned that any updated values in the list, it will update the list. Because we already did the one, we already did the addition with 1 and 2, and now we are adding 4. Originally, this list already have the value 1 and 2. Then, if we do not know what is the list of the next parameter, then we will use the LST as the reference. Then the LST will be updated. Originally, it is 1 and 2. Now it becomes 1 and 2 and 4. So adding 4 will be adding into the LST, which is the reference. So you can check here. We will do list 1, add 1. The result is this one. When we do add 2, we will have this 1, 2. When we have 3 with this list, we have 11, 12, 13, 14, and adding 3 in this list. And then we have 1, 2, and 4 when we do the addition of element 4. This one already. When we deal with the array, there is a kind of mechanism for searching. Searching means I want to find an element in a list. So searching is the process of looking for a specific element in a list. Searching is a common task in computer programming. And there are many algorithms and data structure devoted to searching. So if you later join the data structure and algorithm, you will know how to do the best searching. So then in this section, we will look at the linear search. So I'm using this linear search. We have two parameters, LST and key. So LST, let's say this is the list. I have the list 1, 6, 3, 7, and 2. And I want to check where is the key or where is the value that I search. I would like to do the loop for I in the range from 0 until the length of LST, the length of this list. If the key equals to the list in index I, then return I. It means I would like to get the index of that particular element. Otherwise, return -1. So if I cannot find it, then return -1. Then you will do this one. If you have a list 16372, is there any 4? 16372. So 4 is not available. Then you will see the result -1. What about if you do this one, linear search 16372? When you want to search 2, then you will see this is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is in index 4. Okay, so you can do with the value 4, you can get -1. When you do with 2, you will get the 4. Okay. Yeah, using the linear search, it means we will take a look one by one. So if I have the key and I have the list, then I will check 3 equals to 6, no. 3 equals to 4, no. 3 equals to 1, no. 3 equals to 9, no. 3 equals to 7, no. 3 equals to 3, okay. Because now the value is the same, I want to check which element or which index is this element. So array in Python, actually you can use another kind of library. we have a library of array. When you use the library array, so the data should be in the same data type. Okay? It requires the data to be in the same data type. For example, I, it indicates the integer data type. So you need to import array, and then the num will be an array of array with a value of integer, and then we have a value of a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Using this array, actually the computational cost will be very efficient compared to the list. So the data format here, the data type can be many things. Maybe integer, it can be byte. P, byte means a number between 1 and between 0 until 255. And then there will be float. Float is a number with decimal, okay? And other kind of number. For example, I, it can be indicated with I64. It means only integer until 64 bits. I32, it is integer with 32 bits, and so on. But let me make it simple with I. So when you do with the import array, and then if you define this array, it will show this result. It is an array which is an integer, and it is a list. So basically, the data is a list, but only the result, you will see it as an array. And most of the syntax in a list works in array. Okay? So you want to see the element index 0, then you will see 1. If you want to see the element at the index -1, then you will see the last index, the last value. If you want to skip based on the two intervals, then you will see this result 1, 3, and 5, and the value of the array is integer. You can do like the other kind of list in Python. Let's say you want to do the for loop, then you will get this value. If you want to do something with the tuple, so you can also get the value like this one. So what is the difference? The difference is only we use a library array, but all the functions are the same with this. So we can use the library array, and then we can check the index 0, we can check the index -1, we can check the index with the interval 2, and then we can do the loop for this one. Okay. Okay, because of the time, so I will explain this practice tomorrow.